Good day everyone. Please subscribe, like and share these videos as widely as possible to help my channel grow. We continue with our reading today and we'll read from Genesis 14 in the King James 1611 Bible. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel king of Shinar, Arioch king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer king of Elam, and Tidal king of nations, that these made war with Bera king of Sodom, and with Bersha king of Gomorrah, Shinab king of Admah, and Shemeber king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Emims in Shaveh Kiriathaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir, unto El-Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En-Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites, that dwelt in Hazezontamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar. And they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim, with Kedorlaomer the king of Elam, and with Tidal king of nations, and Amraphel king of Shinar, and Arioch king of Elasar. 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the woman also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him, at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thine hand. And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion. Okay, the first part of this chapter can be very confusing in the way that it is told, and also because of all the names and places and kings. I will try to explain in layman's terms what actually happened here. Well, first of all, there is historical evidence that these people actually existed and that this battle happened. Since Theophilus Pinchas, a pioneer British Assyriologist in the 19th century found evidence of the existence of these 4 Mesopotamian kings in the same time as the Bible suggests, later scholars decided, with no evidence as usual, to place these same kings in a later biblical time. By doing so, mainstream historians and archaeologists do not subscribe to the finds of Mr. Pinchas and does therefore not believe that it took place as the Bible describes. Let me read Wikipedia to you to prove my point. By the way, Pinchas was the one who correctly translated the Babylonian tablets Yero from what was thought to be Izdubar into Gilgamesh, where we then also get the Epic of Gilgamesh from. Here's what Wikipedia says. When cuneiform was first deciphered in the 19th century, Theophilus Pinchas translated some Babylonian tablets which were part of the Spartoli collection in the British Museum, and believed he had found in the Kedorlaomer tablets the names of 3 of the kings of the East named in Genesis 14. In 1887, Schrader was the first to propose that Amraphel could be an alternate spelling for Hammurabi. The terminal B on the end of Hammurabi's name was seen to parallel Amraphel, since the cuneiform symbol for B can also be pronounced P. Tablets were known in which the initial symbol for Hammurabi, pronounced as K to yield Kamurabi, had been dropped, so that Amurapi was a viable pronunciation. If Hammurabi were deified in his lifetime or soon after, adding Il to his name to signify his divinity, this would produce something close to the Bible's Amraphel. A little later, Jean-Vincent Schiele found a tablet in the Imperial Ottoman Museum in Istanbul from Hammurabi to a king named Kudur Lachomer of Ilam, which he identified with the same name in Pinchas' tablet. On the one hand, as the scholarly consensus on Near Eastern ancient history moved towards placing Hammurabi in the late 18th century, or even later, and not the 19th, confessional and evangelical theologians found that they had to choose between accepting these identifications or accepting the biblical chronology. Most were disinclined to state that the Bible might be in error. So because their dating does not line up with the evidence, the Bible must be wrong? Really? Anyway, according to the Bible, this story happened in the time of Kedorlaomer and his 3 buddies, Amraphel, Arioch, and Tidal, whom all were kings in Mesopotamia, or Babylonia if you will, and subordinate to Kedorlaomer. It seems that the whole Fertile Crescent, down to the tip of the Red Sea, was subordinate to this guy, because we read how they rebelled against him, probably by not paying taxes. Eventually, Kedorlaomer and his 3 buddies came out and started subduing these rebels. Initially, they fought the guys all the way down to the Red Sea on the eastern side of the Jordan River. Then they turned around and fought the Amalekites and Amorites northwest of there. And then the 5 kings of the valley of Siddim came out to fight the 4 Mesopotamian kings, but lost, in part due to the slime pits in the area. So, Kedorlaomer and his posse took spoils and people and slaves, which included Lot, and traveled north on their way back home. Abram, who was close to this battle in the Vale of Siddim, heard what happened through someone that escaped capture. He was then in Hebron and had a close ally called Mamre and his brothers, who himself was an Amorite. They were neighbors, if you will. Abram armed his servants, who was already trained for battle, and he and Mamre set off to rescue his nephew Lot. We don't know how many Amorites on Mamre's side also joined the battle, but Abram and his trained servants were 319 in total. Scripture says that he divided himself against them, which could mean that they encircled their camp and they attacked at night. They won the battle and then pursued the remnant all the way north to Hobah, just left of Damascus. Under all the people and spoils of war was his nephew, Lot. The king of Sodom and Melchizedek met Abram on his way back. Yes, the king of Sodom was killed in the battle of the valley of Siddim. This is probably the king chosen in his place by the remnant of the people of Sodom. But the following bit is most interesting. Melchizedek was a king of Salem and priest of the Most High God. Salem was where Jerusalem was later to be, and the word means peace. So he was king of peace and priest of the Most High God. Many believe him to be Jesus himself, as the description fits well enough, and we know that Jesus did appear on earth more than once in the Old Testament. Others believe him to be Shem, Noah's son, and it could also well be. If you look at how old Shem was before he died, he could very well have known Abram. There is also mention of Melchizedek in other places in the Bible, most notably in Hebrews, where Jesus is said to be a priest in the order of Melchizedek. None of this matters so much to me as what he represented in Scripture for the first time. Tithes. The giving of tithes. Long before God's law was given to the Israelites, the giving of tithes was established. Tithes are here given to the priest of the Most High God. Later, it is given to the priests in the tribe of Levi who did the temple service. Right through to where Jesus told the disciples that the old widow gave more in tithes with her 2 brass coins than all the others did because she gave everything she had. Tithing is a rule straight from God. One must give tithes, but you have to be careful to whom you give your tithes. Another interesting fact from this chapter is that Abram did not take the spoils from Sodom which was offered to him. He did not want people to think that the king of Sodom made him rich. I think he knew how wicked these people were, even before God destroyed them utterly. Unfortunately, this is all we have time for today. Please like, subscribe, and even comment on these videos. Share as widely as possible, as this will help my channel to grow. We have a Skype Bible study session at 6 p.m. South African Standard Time, every Sunday night. If you are interested to join, please pop me an email. You can find it in the description. Don't forget to leave a donation. Instructions on how to do so will follow. God bless. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified of our next video. You can help us create better videos by leaving a donation on Patreon. The link is in the description. Thank you. We hope to see you next time.